So the past, you may have heard that by many spiritual teachers that it doesn't exist. And that is true from your experience when you look at it. The past can only exist and live if you're constantly feeding the information from the mind. And if the mind is constantly generating or rather replaying the old clips that it has stored in yourself. So the future also doesn't exist because the future will always be in the future. So you get a lot of spiritual teachers that talk about the now. The now also doesn't exist because the now implies that there must be a past and there must be a future. So there's a now. So there's a separation of a moment. Time is a human construct created in the mind. There are some states of meditation where you experience no time at all. You experience the ultimate nature and reality of what you are when you awaken. So how is this something that is worth talking about, or how is this something that you can use in your daily life? The reason why you think is because there is somewhere in the human structure that unfortunately does not fully live every experience that happens. I'll give you an example. If you tend to have a lot of unfulfilled desires in a day, and you have an excessive amount of mental activity in your night, in sleep, there will be a generation of multiple dreams that occur that are running from the unconscious, manifesting in those dreams, and you sort of fulfill maybe some of those desires in your dream state. So one part of it is because one has unfulfilled desires. Now there is a way how to turn off the mind. There's a video I have created on how to experience Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And in that video, I dive into the environment and the circumstances one can create in order to allow for something beyond the experiential structure to occur and, experience the nature of you, what you are. So you cannot really talk about it because anything that is uttered is sort of not it. In Hinduism, they've used a perfect word. They call it Shiva. Shiva means that which is not. And when I say that, you need to sort of remove the culture and the religion aspect of it, because it's not that. It sort of got messed up. That which is not is everything that you can think of and everything that you cannot think of. Anything that you can process and everything that you can process is not it. So when I say the word experiential structure, what awakening is a complete annihilation of you. You can't call something an experience if it's not part of what you are experiencing, which is the existence that I am alive, or I have a sense of individuality. So to give you an example, let's just say you are dreaming. You're having a dream right now. And in this dream that you are having, you don't know it's a dream, right? Most people don't even know that they're dreaming until they wake up. So similarly, spiritual awakening to what you are is exactly like that. But when you wake up, and if you come back into your body, you would clearly know that what you have experienced is not really an experience, because the you did not experience it. What you are right now did not experience it and can never experience it. There's a statement made by Adi Shankaracharya in the Nirvana Shatakam mantra. He mentions that you are not the one who is experiencing anything. You're not the experiencer, neither the object of the experience, nor the experience itself. And that is something that is very difficult for one to understand, because you cannot understand anything that is not part of the experiencing structure or the false I. So to talk from a place of no experience does not mean nothing happened. And this is where language becomes a bit of a challenge here, because did something happen to this false I that is speaking to you? No, nothing happened to this false I. So what is that which awakens? So everything that, and the reason why I'm saying you can't call it an experience is because everything that you experience in life is through this physical body, is through the senses. You get out of body experiences, that's there. And then there is, if you want to call it a lack, for lack of words, we'll call it an experience, because I can't really communicate this without using some vocabulary. And the vocabulary will never be 100%, right? So something happens beyond the physical, and in that beyond physical space, you can call it out of the body, so a subtle experience, something happens beyond that. And that is the absolute depth of you, what you have known yourself as. And when you come back, then you realize there was no time. In that, there's no sense of there's no time. In that, there's no sense of a mind. Mind doesn't even exist. So there's no thoughts. But there's an absolute, unfathomable sense of knowing what you are. And the greatest shock about it is that this is also everyone as well, all from that source. Everyone as well is that same source. And when it settles in, the whole entire reality that you have known, that you have gathered about life, the conclusion that you made, everything that you known about everything, all of that is sort of dead, dies in that prior experience. So if anyone says that they have awakened, it depends on whether they're speaking from the level of the mind or they are speaking from that consciousness itself. There's a video also which I have made. It's called The Observer is the Observed. We try to dive in a bit into J.D. Krishnamurti's where that statement comes from, to that source, nature, where that arises from, and then from that place, wisdom sort of realized, and then he sort of spoke from there. So that video is more of an attempt to not really help you experience anything, but to sort of point you in a not in a direction, not to give you something. It's just to bring a sense of awareness which can help on an individual's spiritual awakening on their path. It's not that one necessarily has to awaken. It's you already are awake, but you don't know it. So it's just sort of a recognition. And that sense of recognition, if it resonates within yourself, that can help you in your journey. And if you watched any of these videos on this channel, if you're meant to listen to any of these videos, it will find you, or you would find it, and it will have an impact on you, because it has had a tremendous impact on this life and all the other people that you can say this life has come across. It has helped them as well. And it's not meant, the channel is not meant to help you achieve anything, because there is no goal, there is nothing to achieve. And that is one of the biggest paradoxes of spirituality, because if you are, let's just say, there's this one thing which I will share with you. If you look at an enlightenment, right? If you look at an enlightened person, there's no such thing, firstly. But if you look at a person who claims to be enlightened, on the spiritual path, there's people that are searching for how to become awake, how to attain enlightenment, how to attain nirvana, or how do I realize my ultimate nature. It's all about a becoming, right? It's all about, I want to become something. Well, if you are the light, ask yourself this question and forget about all the fanciful things about what religion has said about, oh, you are the light and soul and consciousness and awareness. Forget about all that nonsense. But you ask yourself this question: if I am the light, what do I need to do to realize that I am the light? You see, there's nothing to do. So why is there doing? The doing is required to bring you to a point where you eventually you give up and realize the pointlessness of doing, that there was nothing to do in the first place. So does that mean you must do nothing? No. You have to exhaust a certain part of the self structure that wants to do and thinks that it needs to do something to have and to become. That has to exhaust itself. There's no other way to escape that. That's a different topic for another time. But if you feel that there is something that needs to be done, then you're already moving away from truth. Because you see, if we look at the entire history of most of the enlightened beings, they're calling themselves enlightened beings, or people have called them enlightened beings. It doesn't matter, but the whole history, if you look at it, to some extent, they've all done tremendous amount of either spiritual work or spiritual practices, and then eventually when they stopped, when they realized the pointlessness. Look at Gautama the Buddha's story. Only when he sat down after a couple of years of trying to walk towards truth, he realized there's no going towards truth. The moment he sat down, then it happened. So I'll leave you with this. If this world that you're experiencing is a dream, how do you wake yourself up from the dream? Is it time? Or is it wisdom that you need? Or is it there's something that you think that the dream character needs to do so that the dream character can awaken? Then you're already moving away from it. Getting further than rather getting closer to it. So that's the paradox about spiritual awakening.